Hey, want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Brian text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Pastime Common. He is Tennessee here on a Purple Monday. Vikings beat the Lions. Was it 27-24? Was that
27-24?
27-24. Vikings win. They go to 4-4 in the season. Still in last place in the NFC North, but they sure didn't look like a last place team yesterday, Tennessee. Time for 5-3-4 now on KFAN.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. And now it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
The LA Dodgers became the first repeat champion in 25 years after rallying to beat the Blue Jays 5-4 Saturday night in Game 7 in Toronto. Down by scores of 3-0 and 4-2. Miguel Rojas hit a tying home run in the 9th inning, and then Will Smith hit a home run in the 11th. Yoshinobu Yamamoto earned the World Series MVP after throwing 96 pitches in Game 6, and then 43 more over 2 2/3 innings of relief in Game 7. Common, where does this rank among the greatest World Series of all time?
I watched it almost the entire game. It was Nebraska was doing a blackout game. So I was watching that, but I watched almost the entire World Series. And I texted my brother and told my brother's a Dodgers fan because he lived in Palm Springs for 5, 6, 7 years. So he just started watching Dodger baseball. So he's become a pseudo Dodgers fan. And I told him, and when I was growing up, baseball was my favorite sport. I talked about that before. But as the years have gone by, it's fallen out of favor with me. I just don't care as much anymore. I did not watch the Cubs win the World Series when they won it. When was that? 2016 or whatever? You know, they won their first World Series, 118 years, greatest baseball story of all time. I didn't watch one pitch of it. When the Red Sox beat the Yankees, remember when they were down 3-0 in the ALCS and won 4 in a row? Didn't watch a pitch. Just baseball doesn't do it for me. But I enjoyed the game on Saturday night. It was a really well-played game. And I get it. The Dodgers were the biggest payroll in baseball. What's it, $350 million or even north of that? Of course, Toronto's got the 5th highest payroll, but they're still $100 million less. But it was highly entertaining. I was pulling for Toronto. I didn't tell my brother that, but I was pulling for Toronto. And I would have done, you know what I would have done? And I know you can't do this, I guess, because Guerrero's not much of a runner. He's on third base. You're down 1 run. And there's 1 out, and they got pudgy guy at the plate. I don't know who he was. Big, stocky guy. I don't remember what his name is. Kirk, I think is his name. I would have had him lay down a bunt. I would have done a suicide squeeze. They never would have expected it. And you got to tie the game there, but he hits into a double play in the game. There were some great defensive plays in the game.
Yes, there was. Some
great pitching performances, timely hitting. The 3-run homer by Bichette looked like that's 3-0 Toronto. You can't tell on TV how loud it is, but I have to think that decibel meter must have been off the charts there. And so it was fun to watch. And it's what the Twins should aspire to, but then you look at what you saw on Saturday night, and then you look what's happening over at the Goose that laid the golden egg, and it just seems like they're so far away from ever getting there. But yeah, it was fun to watch. I enjoyed the game very much. You know what? We'll get it turned around. We'll build this thing together. Thanks, Ron, for everything.
Question number 2. It's time now for the lowdown in Dinkytown.
Gophers football team blew a 10-point lead, but then rallied for a 23-20 overtime win over Michigan State Saturday at Huntington Bank Stadium. Gophers are now 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the Big Ten, and the victory secured bowl eligibility for the 7th time in PJ Fleck's 9 years in Minnesota. Common, your thoughts on the win over the Spartans.
Well, I want to dedicate maybe a segment to it before the program's over. One little tweet, and I got just attacked by Gopher fans.
Really?
Are Gopher fans the most insecure of all fans in Minnesota sports? I think they might be.
I had some Viking sensitivity yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've gotten some in here too. I mean,
I think every fan base has got them, but
all the calls went against the Vikings. That was not an interception. That was a catch for the Vikings. It was an interception.
it was an interception.
It's an interception. It just is. You don't. It's okay. You won the game. Most hardcore fans of fan bases always believe the deck is stacked against their team and can never admit when their team. They don't. I take that back. They don't mind ripping their team when they don't play well, but anytime there's a call or something, it's always it's no. Sometimes your team actually didn't catch the ball, or they did commit a penalty, or they did turn the ball over. It does happen sometimes. But anyway, all I said about the game was I tweeted this out. I'll read some of the reactions to it. Was a win is a win, but I don't think we need to give PJ Fleck an extension now. Because it seems like every time he gets a win, we give him an extension, right? And people were just bitter about how far this team has come and this and that and the other thing and what a great coach he is. And it's like, calm down. It was a meaningless. This one says PJ fans are sensitive. Not all Gopher fans, I would say. Maybe that's what it is. It's PJ fans. Because they love him. And he's a good coach. But I don't know. Anyways, we'll get to that. But yeah, that's I watched the game. Michigan State's an awful football team. I mean, they haven't won a Big Ten game. They've won 3 Big Ten games in the last 2 years. They've won some other games, but of course they schedule cream puffs as well. They have 3 wins because they scheduled 3 cream puffs to start the season. Mm-hmm. Can't beat a Big Ten team or Big 18 team. And the Gophers were trying to give that game away, and they did not play particularly well, but they did steal it. They ended up winning the game in OT, and good for them. And the bowl games, spare me the bowl games. There are 40 bowl games every year. 40. That means 80 teams are playing them. That's almost all the teams in FBS. It's not that hard to get to a bowl game. Get to a real bowl game on New Year's Day, or get to the championship game, and then I'll tip my cap to.
Well, even they're off this week, and then they got Oregon the following week, number 7. You got to travel there. Just be competitive. Not even asking for a win, but just don't get embarrassed by 30, 40 points.
Yeah, they got destroyed by Ohio State, and after the game, the coach said, it doesn't mean we're a bad team. We're a good team and a good program. Get killed by Iowa. We've already talked about the stat. That's the most alarming stat I've ever seen. After 4 possessions, the Gophers had 1-yard offense. Iowa had 31 points. And he said, I told the team that doesn't mean we're a bad team and we're not a bad program. Well, okay, but you're not a good team and you're not a good program either. Just there can be somewhere in between, it seems like to me. One of the people that were bitter with me sent me out the stats, like ever since 2019 to where we are now, the Gophers have won, like 5th or 6th with wins in the Big Ten. Great. That's fine. Good. If you're happy with that, knock yourself out. It doesn't do a lot for me. Sorry.
Question number 3. NFL No Huddle.
Sam Darnold completed 21 of 24 passes for 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception in the Seahawks' 38-14 win at Washington last night. Common, is Sam Darnold an MVP candidate?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, that was... Did you just state this? Because I was just waiting for my
Wasn't
turn
really
to talk.
listening.
Yeah, he set some kind of an NFL record. Is that what you just said?
I didn't mention that, no.
Oh, he set an NFL record for... He was 16 for 16 and like 4 tutties and 250 yards in the first half, whatever it was. No quarterback has ever posted those kinds of numbers in the history of the NFL. And that's going all the way back to Sammy Baugh. So, yeah, he's... Look, I get that game against the Kitties last year when the division was on the line was a bad performance. And I read recently where he's getting a lot of criticism for the Rams game. Now, I'm not saying he played well, but that was more the offensive line than it was him. When you're sacked 9 times, how can you blame the quarterback? Well, it wasn't like he was hanging onto the ball. He'd take 2 steps back, and he had 4 guys all over him. Why do you think immediately following the game, the coach said we got to fix the interior of our offensive line? He knew. And the reason they didn't go with Darnold, we know why. It's not even a bad. You don't even have to say it's a bad decision. They invested a 10th round pick overall and traded up for their future quarterback. Coach thinks he's good at coaching up kids, and they didn't want to spend $100 million on Darnold. They wanted to save that money for free agency. It made sense. It's not necessarily a bad idea, but to suggest that Darnold, because of that one game against the Lions, can't play in this league, and that goes to the fan base again. They believe whatever the head coach in the organization says, so it's like you can't trust Darnold. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see as the season progresses.
He and the Seahawks looked really good last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Jackson Smith and Jigba quietly is like becoming a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Exactly.
And no one's even talking about it.
No.
As Warren would say.
Well, Warren, I think, might be talking about it, but you and I are too.
Buffalo beat Kansas City 28-21. Common, which team is more likely to be a big game contender, Buffalo or Kansas City?
Kansas City, because the stat, I think Josh Allen's now 5-0 against Pat Mahomes in the regular season. I think he's like 0-4 in the postseason. It's when you win your games, right? I did not. Matter of fact, I've been waiting all day for Sunday. I thought that was the Sunday nighter. I asked Deuce, I go, are you going to watch the Sunday night game with me, or are you going to play Dude Bro? He's going to be on the, playing video games with his buddies. He goes, I'm probably going to Dude Bro it. I go, we've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Bills, Chiefs. He goes, Dad, it ain't Bills, Chiefs. I don't even know what was it last night.
It was Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Washington.
So and I had it on, but Washington they're not the Washington of last year, at least to this point. They certainly aren't.
And Jaden Daniels had a bad injury last night.
Yeah, that's not good.
The Packers lost to the Panthers 16-13. Hold on, I'm trying to find. There we go. At Lambeau Field. Common, what in the heck happened to Green Bay yesterday?
I just don't think. Deuce thinks it's the uniforms. I love those uniforms. Did you like those?
Well, anything's other. The green and gold colors for the Packers are some of the ugliest in all sports. So anything to get away from those.
Well, and then they had. I know they weren't real leather helmets because you can't play them.
But it looks like it, yeah.
But they look like it. I think those uniforms are sweet. Oh gosh, I just thought they were. If I were the Packers, I would change to those. I don't know, Tennessee. I didn't see that one coming. That's for sure. You know what it is? It's just the way the National Football League is.
Any given Sunday.
I thought I made no bones about it. I thought the Lions would beat the Vikings. Vikings hadn't played well really all season long. And they played their best game of the season. Now they needed to, and I think the Lions were a little fat and happy. But that's just the way the league is. Teams look like they're unbeatable. Well, how about the Colts? Were you going to get to that in?
No, I wasn't going to get to that.
Colts lose to the Steelers. Who saw that coming? Every week it's different. Now, Lions, I think they're in Washington to take on the Commanders. Is Daniels going to be out?
Don't know yet.
But
didn't sound great.
Yeah, it didn't sound great. Yeah. So again, I don't know who their backup is, and with the way the Lions played, if that continues, they might not win another game. But I would expect the Lions to rebound, especially if Daniels doesn't play.
By the way, for Green Bay, their best pass catcher, tight end Tucker Kraft, out for the year, torn ACL. Yeah. So that's a big hit to them.
A big hit to them.
Question number 3.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
The Wild snapped their 5-game losing streak with a 5-2 win over the Vancouver Canucks Saturday night at Grand Casino Arena. Vladimir Tarasenko scored a goal and added 2 assists. Marco Rossi extended his point streak to 5 games with a goal. Common, will Saturday's win for the Minnesota Wild be a trend or a mirage?
I would say it's like when you give somebody a grade of incomplete. I need to see more than one game. You hope it's a trend. I think we would, we'd love to see the hometown. Is it 5? No, they have 6. Hometown 6. Sometimes it feels like they're only playing 5. I think we'd like to see the hometown 6 get things turned around right now, Van Halen-like, but I need to see more than that. Your thoughts? Do you think it's trend or mirage?
I think it's way too early to determine that. I will say it was much needed, not only from a standings perspective, but I think just from a psychological and confidence perspective. A lot of the games they've been losing, they've been in all those. They've been competitive. It's not like they're getting blown out. It's not like they've been an awful team through that part of the schedule. But I do think they were squeezing the sticks a little tight, and bad decisions and bad plays were getting magnified. And the fact that they got 5 goals basically without Kaprizov and Boldy, I think is much needed for the psyche of that team. To get Tarasenko going a little bit. Rossi's been pretty solid throughout, but he scores a goal. They got one from Brodin. They desperately needed, and they were the better team in that game. They were outplayed Vancouver and were in control for the vast majority of that game. But at this stage, given how big of a hole they've dug themselves in, I'm going to need to see a little bit more than one good game against a pretty mediocre opponent before I get too excited about it.
I'm with you.
Quickie?
Question number 3.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the welfare of the Wolves.
Julius Randle scored 30 points to lead the Wolves past the Charlotte Hornets 122-105 Saturday night. Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid added 18 points each. Rudy Gobert had 14 points and 15 boards. Minnesota held the Hornets to 39.5% shooting, including just 35.7% in the second half. Common, what sticks out to you from the Wolves' win in Charlotte?
Nothing really. Means nothing, because their next game out, they'll probably won't put any effort defensively, and they'll lose, and they'll say, I guess we just came out flat. We didn't. They tried harder. We need to put more effort. We weren't all synced up. It's NBA regular season is just absolutely atrocious. It's awful. I don't know how anybody watches it. I really don't. Now, I would listen to it because we're your audio home of the Minnesota Timberwolves, but it's it's so bad. They have to think about it. They had to invent an in-season tournament to get teams to try to play harder. Because doesn't the winning team, doesn't each player get like $1 million or $500,000 or something like that?
They get money. I don't remember how much, but.
Now, again, most of that money is kind of just walking around money for a lot of those guys, but it's just so sad. But yeah, well, it's better to win than lose, I guess. But who do we have next? Do we know? Do we have any indication?
I think they're back at it tonight, aren't they?
Who do we have?
Is it the Brooklyn game tonight?
Oh, we'll probably win that one because is Brooklyn any good?
Brooklyn's 0-6.
Yeah, so that's a win. Unless we do, we've seen this.
We've
seen this Wolves team do.
We've
this
played
before,
under competition.
Where all of a sudden we lose a game and we lose game, but we don't care because as long as we make postseason play, I guess. That's 5-3-4, I think, right?
Yeah, that's it.
We'll take a break, come back.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Did you do the keyword, or do we need to do it?
Oh, we got to get to keyword now.
Yeah, let's do a keyword then, because we're a little behind. We're straddling the 45, folks. Straddling for stations all along the Common Man Radio Network, straddling the 45. Tenneby's got a keyword.
Yeah, the fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is credit. Enter now at KFAN.com. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
I don't even recall the final score of the Gophers game. Do you? Did we win by 7, by 3? What did we win by?
23-20 in overtime, I believe.
That's right, 23-20 in overtime. So, at 6:01 on Saturday, I tweet, a win is a win, but we shouldn't have to give PJ an extension. Kind of just having, a little fun.
Sure.
It's not even that funny, but, he gets an extension, it seems, every year. Make a bowl game, we get an extension. Beat Iowa, he gets an extension. He's had a handful of extensions. I think his contract runs into the year 25-25. Enough of the extensions. He's not getting the Penn State job. He's not. He's not leaving for the Penn State job. He's not going to get that offer. If he does, I'll leave town. That being said, these are some of the replies I got when I just sent what I thought was a very innocuous tweet about not giving attention. Why our local media plays this game instead of supporting our teams is insane to me. It's not my job to support the teams. Do you not understand the role of the media? There are some that are Polad pocket protectors, Wilf wallet watchers, Glenn's greenback guardians. What do we change them? Lordy's loot lovers? Is that what we changed them to? And then, or is it Leopold's loot lovers?
I thought it was ledger lovers for Leopold.
Ledger lovers for Leopold. Lori's loot lover sounds good. That's not my job as a media member to be a fan. I can be a fan, but you have to separate being a fan. Not everybody does it. There are people on these airwaves that are unabashedly fans of some of the local teams. And I think sometimes, I think for some of them, I'm not going to mention names, but I think for some of them, they can still be critical of the local teams one need be. I just praise the Vikings. That was their best performance they've had all year. I've been waiting for 7 games. I've been waiting for a game like this. And they finally put one together. Now, again, am I ready? Even the coach seemed a little, what's the word I'm looking for, Teneby? He didn't seem all giddy, really excited. I think he just let the performance speak for itself, because I think he also knows the team has underachieved this year. I think a lot of it's had to do with the offensive line. We saw what happened when Detroit's offensive line got beat up yesterday. They didn't finish the game with the 5 guys they started the game with. They finished with 1. They had 4 guys, 3 guys, 3 different linemen in there, just like the Vikings had. Why do you think Wentz was getting beat up so much? Why? Because the Vikings there was no Darisaw. There was no O'Neal. The other guy that they got, we had the 2 off, we have Fries, and what was the other guy? Whoever the other guy. Kelly.
It sounds like he's going to start working out on the side.
Is he?
That's what KFC announced today.
But when you don't have those players, it's hard to protect your quarterback and open up holes, or protect the quarterback and open up holes for your running back. It's difficult to do. But even the coach didn't seem to get too cocksure about himself. He seemed very understated to me, which is good. The season, they're still in last place. They're 4-4. It's a nice win. Detroit's a quality club. Maybe they are missing the coordinator more than I thought. That's starting to obviously be a theme in Detroit now.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem to, there was a stat they had, I saw the stat before the broadcast, where the Kitties now are in 3rd and 10 or more, they were 0-20. I mean, and that was not them in the past.
No.
With Ben Johnson, that was nothing. 3rd and 10 was not a big deal for Detroit. So I don't know if that is offensive coordinator. Brady did the game yesterday. He seemed to indicate he thought the Lions' offense, the reason they were playing as well as they have been this year at occasions. Because you remember after the loss to Green Bay, they had 2 games in a row where it looked like they were back. Matter of fact, that's where Rosen, remember we talked about Rosen is so healthy because he walks backwards all the time? Remember he backpedaled? He said the Lions were done. The window was shut. Then after, what was the win that he basically said, well, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. He didn't go that far, but he said we're back. But that's the overreaction we get all the time. The Lions put up 50. They put up 50 against somebody And they put up 40-something against somebody else. They had like 90 points in back-to-back.
Chicago game, too. They ran up the score.
Yeah, and then they wrapped the score against somebody else. So they had two big games.
Was that the Baltimore game?
It might have been the Baltimore game. Ever thought they were back, right? And but Brady seemed to think it was because Goff has taken more ownership of the offense and making more decisions and more comfortable with everything that's going on. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. It remains to be seen. What Brady did talk about yesterday, which was kind of interesting, he was talking about there's actually three different kinds of passes, and I can't remember exactly how he said, but you have your little floaters you throw, and then your where you got to rifle the ball. There's different styles of throwing, and the last throw to Naylor by McCarthy, he raved about that, and that was the one where he talked about that's where you got to make a perfect throw there. You have to make a perfect throw.
I don't like that play call. Like, even though it worked and it executed, like that's not a high percentage play you're throwing there on third down, and you're especially doing it with your third wide receiver.
Yes.
I mean, the coverage is pretty darn good.
Yeah, it was good. But it worked.
It did work.
I didn't even finish this. I'm going to get to a couple more of these. I mean, I just took a beating on social. And I don't always check responses. Sometimes I forget that I even tweeted. I forgot I even tweeted.
The fans are very sensitive during games.
Yeah, well, I tweeted that, and then I went to dinner. My wife and I went out to dinner. We had a lovely dinner together. And thank you. Oh. And so I forgot I even tweeted, and then I said, I tweeted. I wonder if anybody had anything to say. And sure enough, it was just I got destroyed. We'll talk about that. There's plenty more to get to. No Rosen today. Of course, it's a Monday. He'll be with us tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I believe it's the PJ Flex Show tomorrow at 1. We'll see what PJ has to say about the victory over Michigan State.
He might be off because it's a bye week. Might end up being players.
Yeah, so it'll be that's right, the players coming in. So we'll take a break. We'll come back with more here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Headed to the Vikings-Ravens game this Sunday. We'll come find our street team on the plaza outside of U.S. Bank Stadium and ask us how you can enter for your shot at Papa Murphy's Game Day meal deals for a year. Check out KFAN.com, keyword calendar for all the details.
It's a couple 13-14 pass. Common Man program has been fast-paced, action-packed, and controversial as always. Earlier today, talking about the Vikings' victory over the Lions, I get a lot of people trying to troll me about the Kitties, like I'm heartbroken and devastated, even some sales guys, which, like I told you before, they avoided me like the plague for about the last 4 weeks, and all of a sudden they come running down the hall to greet me when I pull in because their Vikings team won the game. But I guess people have a hard time understanding because it is rare, I think, that someone can not take, especially working at, most people that work at all sports radio stations, they eat, breathe, drink, and sleep sports. I feel like, not Wizard of Oz, but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Remember the part it's a 1964 children's animated cartoon that they play every year at Christmas, and there's the land of misfit toys, right? Where there's, what is it? He's not a Jack in the Box. He's Bill in the Box or something like that. They're the land of misfit toys because Rudolph is kind of a misfit, right? He's got the glowing nose and blah. And so I'm sort of a misfit in a sports station because as I've tried to explain to people as years have gone by, it's not as important as it once was to me. When I was a little kid, I just loved it. It's all I did. I just, like most kids, you just love sports. And I stayed that way kind of through my teens. And then once I got into the radio business, I was just more of a high school sports guy because I was doing play-by-play. I didn't pay that close attention. I was a Denver Bronco fan for a long time because when I was working at the radio station in Wyoming, we were on the Denver Broncos radio network. I was there for 7 years. So the Broncos were the only games, but they were basically considered our team in Wyoming.
What years were those?
That would have been 83 through 1990.
Okay.
They went Denver twice, beat Cleveland in AFC Championship game. Did Denver win the big game any of those years?
I thought they didn't until the mid to late 90s, right? Didn't they win 2 then?
Yeah.
With Elway and Terrell Davis?
Maybe they lost, but I know they beat Cleveland. I'm almost certain they beat the Browns.
Was that the drive by Elway?
Yes. I was a Broncos fan and a Lions fan and a Vikings fan. I was a fan of 3 teams. Sorry if you can't accept that.
Yeah, they won 98-99.
Yeah.
And 2016.
Okay. So what happened in the 80s? Did they go to the big game and lose? Because I could have swore they beat Cleveland in AFC championship games. Of course, that was toward the tail end of my Haight-Ashbury days. I don't know if I told you this, but I quit drinking in 1990.
So they did go to the big game in 86, 87, 89.
Yeah. 86 and 87, they beat them.
86, they lost to the Giants. 87, they lost to Washington. 89, they lost to the 49ers.
And they played in and obviously the AFC Championship game back-to-back years. Those back-to-back years, they beat Cleveland.
I forgot, because for the longest time, they were one of those teams that were like in the Vikings, where they lost 4 Super Bowls.
They beat the Browns both those years, did they not? 86, 87? I think in both years they beat the Browns.
86, they beat the Browns in overtime.
Yep. In 87, I think they beat the
87, they beat the Browns.
There you go. I was a Denver fan. So sorry that I rooted for Denver and Detroit and the Vikings. Sorry, I know a lot of people can't accept them.
89, they beat the Browns too. All three of those years.
I did not realize that.
All 3 in the conference championship.
I know some people just can't accept that, especially younger fans. Now, I hate the Packers. That's the one thing I could never root for the Packers. But anyway, I guess I could root for the Packers if they were to win and somehow that helped the Kitties or the Vikings. Yeah, then I guess I could root for them. But here's a text message that says, question. This will settle it once and for all. Vikings and Lions in the NFC Championship game. 3 seconds left. How about 4 seconds? I'd rather have it 4. 3 seconds left. Will Reichard makes the kick and Vikes win. Reichard misses, Lions advance to the big game. Are you cheering for Reichard to make the kick or miss it?
Ooh.
Okay.
Controversy.
Let's pretend it's this year. So if he misses it and the Lions win, you and I are stuck in the middle of February in Minnesota. If the Vikings win, we get an all-expense-paid trip to Santa Clara, California. I'm lining up tee times at the Silver Creek Valley Country Club, which is an upscale private country club with a challenging course, beautiful views of the surrounding area, and a waterfall visible from the dining hall. How nice is that? We can look at a waterfall as we're eating our lunch. I'd also make a tee time at Cordoval. Cordoval is a sophisticated resort featuring a private 18-hole golf course in excellent condition with luxurious accommodations. It also has a day spa and tennis facilities, in case we wanted tennis, anyone.
That sounds nice.
And then Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Now, which do you think I want to do? Plus, that's 2 weeks of unprecedented ratings for us, which guarantees you and I getting our bonus in the first quarter. Or the Lions going to the big game. I like me some Lions football, but sorry. You and I in Santa Clara, California, playing golf. Then how about when Abbott says, why didn't you get any sound from the news conference? Well, we're not there for the news. We're there to do our show and play golf. 4! So that should answer the question. Will Reichard please make that kick?
Question, those golf courses, do any of them have the ocean on the right or the left side of the holes? I need to know before we head out there.
I'll check on that before I make those tee times. Let's go. What did PA call this one? Not Mission Santa Clara. What would it have been?
It's a good question.
Yeah, something that has to start with an S. There has to be the alliteration. Something Santa Clara. So that will settle it once and for all. Go Vikes. We'll pause. We'll return with little right here on the Common Man program on the Fan.